Hi guys, it's Charlie with Boxing Focus, and follow up to Wilder beating Stiverne. Now, I somehow successfully predicted this outcome, and the main reason I did make that prediction was the shape that Stiverne showed up in, which was, he'd been training at McDonald's, not in a boxing gym. He was tubby, flabby, and in the end lethargic and not able to work hard enough or cover distance well in the fight. And as a consequence, Wilder wins, and Wilder showcased some of that boxing ability that I said that he hadn't really shown that much of in previous fights because his opponents hadn't been good enough to bring it out of him. He basically hurts these smaller, worse fighters and then jumps on them with his wild looping shots to stop them, and those wild shots make people question his boxing ability. But the thing is, outside of those finishing moments where he generally looks sloppy and terrible, but he's thrown plenty of power, basically looks very amateurish. Outside of that, leading up to that, he's actually always fairly solid technically. So, I thought he had that in him, and he showed that against Stiverne. But don't jump aboard the Wilder hype train. I mean, people were saying he was a hype job coming into this, and all of a sudden they're saying, he's the next great American boxing hope. He's just nowhere near the finished article, and I thought that was so obvious against Stiverne. Stiverne, who was fat and slow by his standards, still was in the fight the whole way, even though it was an easy decision. He was always looking dangerous, and there was a moment in the 11th round, around halfway through, where Wilder just ran out of gas, and if that's what an out of shape Stiverne can do to him, imagine what an in shape Stiverne does to him. You saw early in the fight when Stiverne was a little fresher, he was landing good body shots whenever he closed the distance. He was throwing big hooks that were occasionally missing by a whisker. He was leaping in with shots that he wasn't really able to cover the distance because he just didn't have the energy. If you can take all of the things that Stiverne was doing and substitute an in-shape Stiverne for the fat guy that turned up at the weekend, then I think Stiverne causes all kinds of problems for Wilder, and you may well have seen a different outcome. And I think that's a big indication for me that, unfortunately for Wilder, who is talking fighting Fury and then chasing Klitschko, unfortunately for Wilder, I don't think he beats either of them yet. I think he's still a little too raw. I think he still needs to go back and work on some aspects of his game and fight kind of opponents like Stiverne who he can apply that against. Combination punching. He only had one combination. That was the 1-2. Nothing else. From the outside, he was predictable. It was jab or jab straight. That was all he had in his arsenal. And whilst that works great against the guys just walking forward with his hands up, because as great as a guard is, there's a gap in the middle, and he was exploiting that. Against somebody with the kind of boxing pedigree of Tyson Fury or Vladimir Klitschko, or an in-shape, energetic Bermane Stiverne, that is not going to be that effective. You saw when Stiverne had a bit of energy and used a bit of upper body movement, he was slipping the jab quite easily, which kind of indicates to me the jab's not that snappy, certainly not as fast as it could be. I think Tyson Fury has a better jab and would out-jab Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury's bigger than him, he's taller than him, and he's got better reach than him, and Tyson Fury has very good technical boxing ability. He showcased that against Chisora. He completely shut Chisora down, even though I don't think Chisora's heart was quite in that fight. Tyson Fury completely took the game away from him. Vladimir Klitschko, very experienced, very sharp, and hits incredibly hard, and is the same size as Deontay Wilder. He needs more experience, and he needs to work on things like combination punching, like not going mental when he hurts a guy. If he just stuck with that cleaner, more technical boxing when he's got Stiverne hurt, then he probably knocks him out instead of jumping on him and going in with these mad hooks that Wilder was kind of smothering himself. I just think it's a little bit early to be expecting Wilder to take over the heavyweight boxing scene. He's got an awful lot to improve on. I thought that going into the fight, and I definitely think that coming out of it. Again, the main reason that I picked Wilder to win this fight was the condition of Bermane Stiverne at the weigh-in, and I really think a Bermane Stiverne who's in shape, I would lean his way in a rematch. At this point in time, I think Wilder has plenty of room for improvement. He's big and he's athletic and he's fast and he's a professional. That's something that I think you can accuse Stiverne of lacking professionalism. Wilder's always in shape, always training, always looking to improve, but there's a lot of room for improvement. So I'd be interested to see where he goes, but he really needs to fight. He needs to defend his title a few times, maybe against the Chris Arreola, against guys that are tough and going to come for him and force him to move and use his boxing ability. So be interested to see where he goes, but don't expect him to take over the heavyweight boxing scene this year. This is Charlie with Boxing Focus. Feedback, comments, all appreciated. Thanks for watching.